I am the Punisher. I've heard a lot of people repeat the definition that socialism is just an economic system which puts ownership of the means of production into the hands of the community as a whole, which sounds pretty great in theory, but it almost invariably ends up meaning in the hands of the government, which sounds a little more suspect immediately to most people when phrased that way. But let's unpack the basic idea for a moment. I've got a question for you. What are the means of production? The usual answer is factories, farms, and other institutions which produce goods. Okay, sure. Except that an institution isn't a real thing. It's a concept that we use as a shorthand for a group of people in cooperation with one another. You say, but factories are real things. It's not just workers, there are machines and lots of physical components. Absolutely. But that leads into my next question. Where did those things come from? It's not like factories appear by magic at random times like Pokemon. There's no mad scramble where the disadvantaged are mowed down en masse by the evil capitalist warlords when they try to lay claim to new factories as they're spawned in by the universe. Factories are built by people, using machines which were built by people, using more machines built by more people, ad nauseum, going back until somebody dug in the dirt for rocks and ripped off tree benches by hand. When it comes down to it, the means of production is just the labor of people, the work of their own hands. Nobody else can own other people's hands. If people can sell their work to other people, in our nomadic days, a skilled hunter would bring back far more meat than needed, and would trade some to a craftsman who was skilled at making spears and arrows in return for his tools. This is a fair exchange. Each had something the other wanted and traded it voluntarily. This is a win-win situation, as both end up better off than they were before. A factory isn't the means of production. It represents a lot of work of many people hired by the person or people who began the business. Their work was paid for, presumably at the going rate, because otherwise people would have preferred to sell their services to somebody who would pay them more. And such a business grew organically over time. Almost nobody starts a business with a huge factory. And those who do have the money to do so because of success in previous business ventures. But most begin as small concerns on a shoestring budget. And if their product is good and makes a profit, they can grow the business. They hire more people, improve their workplace, and over many, many iterations, a factory is born or a business is built. But it's always born out of the work of people who are voluntarily providing their labor for their wages. Ultimately, the means of production are other people, and no person or group of people, including and maybe especially a democratically elected government, has the right to own them. I am the Punisher.